Like the city-state of London and the Vatican, a third city-state was officially created in 1982. That city-state is called the District of Columbia and is located on 10 square miles of land in the heart of Washington. The District of Columbia flies its own flag and has its own independent constitution. Although geographically separate, the city-states of London, the Vatican, and the District of Columbia are one interlocking empire called Empire of the City. The flag of Washington's District of Columbia has 3 red stars, one for each city-state in the 3-city empire. This corporate empire of 3 city-states controls the world economically through London's inner city, militarily through the District of Columbia, and spiritually through the Vatican. The Constitution for the District of Columbia operates under a tyrannical Roman law known as Lex Fori, which bears no resemblance to the U.S. Constitution. When Congress passed the Act of 1871, it created a separate corporate government for the District of Columbia. This treasonous act allowed the District of Columbia to operate as a corporation outside the original Constitution of the United States and outside of the best interests of American citizens. A sobering study of the signed treaties and charters between Britain and the United States exposes a shocking truth. The United States has always been, and still is, a British Crown colony. King James I was famous not for just changing the Bible into the King James Version, but for signing the First Charter of Virginia in 1606. That charter granted America's British forefathers a license to settle and colonize America. The charter also guaranteed that future kings and queens of England would have sovereign authority over all the citizens and colonized land in America stolen from the Indians. After America declared its independence from Great Britain, the Treaty of 1783 was signed. That treaty specifically identifies the King of England as the Prince of the United States and contradicts the belief that America won the War of Independence. Although King George III of England gave up most of his claims over his American colonies, he kept his right to continue receiving payment for his business venture of colonizing America. If America had really won the War of Independence, they would never have agreed to pay debts and reparations to the King of England. When Congress passed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, the U.S. President was made subservient to the King of England. The 13th Amendment is called the Title of Nobility Amendment and forbids U.S. presidents and their officials from using royal titles like King or Prince or Baron. For some mysterious reason, the 13th Amendment, which was ratified in 1810, no longer appears on current copies of the Constitution. America's blood-soaked War of Independence against the British bankrupted America and turned its citizens into permanent debt slaves of the King. In the War of 1812, the British torched and burned to the ground the White House and all U.S. government buildings and destroyed ratification records of the U.S. Constitution. 1 century later, a corrupt U.S. Congress committed the biggest theft in world history. They passed Paul Warburg's Federal Reserve Act in 1913, handing over America's gold and silver reserves and total control of America's economy to the Rothschild banksters. Most Americans still believe that the Fed or Federal Reserve is the government. It is not. The Fed is a privately owned banking system whose majority Class A shareholders are the Rothschilds, Warburgs, Kuhn & Loeb, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Israel Seif, and the Lehman Brothers. This private banking cartel is the Fed and is never audited and never pays taxes. They print and design America's money, which displays their symbols of an Egyptian pyramid, a Masonic all-seeing eye, and the words "In God We Trust." Who exactly is the God they trust? They also collect American taxpayers' money through the IRS. Then they loan it back again with interest to pay for roads, bridges, and other public. Most U.S. citizens believe that the United States is a country and that the President is the most powerful man on earth. The United States is not a country. It is a corporation, and the President is President of the Corporation of the United States. He and his elected officials work for the corporation, not for the American people. Since the United States is a corporation, who owns the corporation of the United States? Like Canada and Australia, whose leaders are prime ministers of the Queen, and whose land is called Crown Land, the United States is just another Crown colony. Crown colonies are controlled by the empire of 3 city-states. At the center of each city-state is a towering, phallic-shaped stone monument called an obelisk that points skyward. In D.C. city-state, the obelisk, known as the Washington Monument, was dedicated to Freemason George Washington by the Freemason Grand Lodge of the District of Columbia. The Secretive Brotherhood of Freemasons laid the Washington obelisk's cornerstone in 1848 and contributed 22 Masonic memorial stones. 250 Masonic lodges financed the Washington Monument obelisk, including the Knights Templar Masonic Order. At the heart of London city-state is a 187-ton, 69-foot-tall Egyptian obelisk called Cleopatra's Needle. It was transported from Egypt and erected on the banks of the River Thames. In Vatican City, another Egyptian obelisk towers high above St. Peter's Square.
Alright, so Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad with another edification to the power and spirit of Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so first and foremost, Kal Halayim, La Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahweh Shai, Baal Shem Rakaha Kodash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Alright, double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great millstone that rule well. Double salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching the truth throughout the 4 corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, okay, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwad, which is his sisters. The title of this lesson is The 3 City-States. Alright, the 3 City-States. Okay, now for the young brothers and sisters that coming into this truth here, alright, pursuant to the clip that you had that was played before the edification here, the expounding on the edification here, that those 3 city-states is actually prophesied within the scriptures, which we're going to get in a bit. Alright, it was prophesied in the scriptures. Alright, what you're watching there is actually the image, part of the image of the beast. Alright, what you're watching there is the blueprint. Alright, the blueprint, so to speak, the blueprint towards the image of the beast. Alright, you know, these things, these three things there, you know, the financial sector, the false religion, you know, select the arm of the false religion. Alright, so with the Vatican, because out of the Vatican is where you get the mother of all. The Vatican, you know, the Roman Catholic Church is the mother of all religion. Alright, and then you have the military arm, which is at Washington DC. Alright, so these 3 city-states is the actual blueprint, you know, towards the image of the beast, so to speak. Alright, there's what it is here. Okay, because you have to understand, you know, due to revelation, let's get that. I didn't really have that on my list. I have a small list here. But let's take a look at Revelation 20 and 1. Revelation 20 and 1, where it reads, "And I saw an angel came down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit." Alright? And a great chain in his hand. Alright, that angel it is speaking about is us. Alright? The Israelites. Okay? That's who it's speaking about, the Israelites. Because what that bottomless pit, it represents Europe. Okay? And it says, "And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan." Alright? They are the devil. The devil just means deceiver. Alright, slanderer. Alright, and which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and they are the physical counterpart, alright, of the spiritual being Satan, alright, and bound him 1,000 years. So this is speaking about pursuant to the prophecy, alright, of Esau, Edom fallen, alright, the fall of the Roman Empire, the pagan Roman Empire, alright, and they going into the Caucasus Mountains, alright, and being there for roughly over 1,000 years. Alright? And it says here, "And cast him into the bottomless pit, and set his seal, and set him up, and set his seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season." Okay? And that 1,000 years was fulfilled. Okay? That 1,000 years was fulfilled, which was the Dark Ages, and after that was the commencement of the what they call it again, the Renaissance period, alright, which means rebirth, alright. This is when Esau came back into power, pursuant to let's go to Revelation chapter 13. There's another scripture that also backs it up, but I don't want to go to that as yet. Revelation 13 and 1, it reads, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea," alright, "and saw a beast." Was it a literal beast? No, it was not a literal beast. It was a system, alright, a diabolical, draconian, tyrannical system, alright, that had been imposed upon the face of the earth by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, alright. And I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads. Alright, that 7 heads represent the 7 Edomite empires. Alright, major Edomite empires, which was the Greeks, the Romans, Germany Major, Germany Minor, Portugal, Spain, the French, and the British. Okay, and alright, and upon his horns 10 crowns. And that 10 crowns, it represents the European Union today. Alright, back then it was the European Economical. Just now, bear with me. What others? I want to get it straight. I want to get the facts straight. What was the European Union called before? Yeah. Alright, so it was the European Economic Community, right? The EEC. Alright, the European Economic Community. Alright. And before that, the European Coal and Steel Community. The EEC was established in 1958, building upon the foundation of the ECSC, which was formed in 1952. Alright, which also goes back to the Treaty of Rome. Alright, the Treaty of Rome. Alright, here is a more detailed breakdown. The European Coal and Steel Community. We go down here. The European Economic Community in 1957. Did you see? You see what I'm saying? The Treaty of Rome. The Treaty of Rome, which proves, alright, which proves that they are the biblical Edomites, okay? That they are the biblical Edomites, and they are the descendants of pagan Rome, all right? Because Esau Edom is pagan Rome, okay? It says here the Treaty of Rome established the EEC, expanding cooperation to other areas of trade, agriculture, and the peaceful use of nuclear energy. All right, and then it was changed into the European Union. Now, funny enough, when they had started, it was 10 nations. It was 10 nations, all right, 10 countries. 10 countries that had formed the EEC, all right, the European Economic Committee. It was 10 nations. But when they saw that, when they realized that they had fulfilled prophecy, all right, they had fulfilled prophecy, it's when they started to expand it, okay? Is when they started to expand it and try to say the offsetting prophecy, because now is like, I think it's like 27 countries, all right? It was 28, but Britain, they came out, you know, they left, all right? United Kingdom, they left. So now it consists of 27 countries. But let's see what was the original 10 countries of the EEC. Who are the of the EEC. Alright, so this was the original 10 countries. Alright, Greece, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, that's 4, Denmark, France, Germany, Ireland, that's 8, Italy, Luxembourg, and Netherlands. Let me see what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, but Ireland didn't came in as yet, I believe. It was Ireland didn't came in as yet, I believe. But these countries here, including the Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Italy, Germany, France, Denmark, Croatia, Bulgaria. No, I think Ireland is Croatia. One of alright, but these are the original countries that alright, let me see some here. Good. Alright, so as you can see here, they showed me the first 10 countries, and then Portugal and Spain. So Ireland was there, or part of the original 10. Yeah. Alright, because I don't want to be misleading. So yeah, Ireland was a part of the original 10. Portugal and Spain, they came in later. Yeah, they came in on the late half. Alright, now there's a reason why I'm coming to this here. Okay, there's a reason why I'm coming to this here, which is all going to break down, going back into that three city state. Alright, so this is it here. Alright, this is the 10 heads. Okay, this is the 10 heads. That is the 10 crowns, Salakia. That is on the 7 heads. Okay, which is actually the beast. All right, because the beast is EU. The beast is actually EU and NATO. So let's come back to here. So it says here, verse 2. All right. I know I didn't finish read verse 1, and it says, and having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which was the Grecians, and his feet as the feet of a bear, all right, which is the Russians, all right, because the Russians is going to be the ones to take down, all right, the beast, okay, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which is the British, all right, and the dragon gave him his power, which is the old Roman Empire, all right, and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Now this is when the fall had taken place, all right, was on the pagan Roman Empire, okay. This is when the fall had taken place. This is when we had took them down, all right. It says here, and they worship the dragon, which is the old Roman Empire. All right, they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worship the beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with the beast?" Okay, who is able to make war with the beast? So, as you can see here, which I'm going to go into Revelation 16 in a bit, verse 4 is actually tying in into Revelation 16 and 13. All right, because when it says, and they worship the dragon, all right, they worship the dragon, they worship that old Roman Empire, okay, which ties into the what do you call it again? The false prophet. It ties into the false prophet, okay, which is the Roman Catholic Church, all right, which is the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope. Okay, it ties into that. Also it goes into its false miracles by the way of technology and whatnot, so forth. Okay, and when it says who is able to make war with the beast, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with the beast. All right, this goes into their military arm, their military structure that helps support the whole beast system, that protects and enforces the policies of the beast system. Okay, so it says and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months, and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahweh, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwelt in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to cover them, to overcome them, Salakia, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Because why? They are ruling over the four corners of the earth now. Okay? It's not like back then where they were ruling just the known world. No, they are ruling the whole earth, because they have gotten the earth into their hands. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They compass the whole earth. You understand? There is what it is here. They have compassed the whole earth. Now, when you go to Revelation 16, let's get it. Revelation 16 and 13, where it reads, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. That is this scripture here is the prophecy pursuant to the clip that we had just watched, pursuant to the 3 city states. All right, because these 3 city states is something that is very integral. Let's go into that word integral. All right. I think it's TI. Integral. All right. As it says here, integral. It says essential and fundamental. All right. Necessary to make a whole complete. all right, necessary to make a whole complete, essential, or fundamental. All right, it says of a function which given a function a derivative, it yields the function when different. All right, so it is highly essential and fundamental, all right, to make this whole system complete. These three city-states and their roles and function. Because when I go back to the scripture, all right, and I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the beast, all right, come out of the mouth of the dragon, which is America, all right. The dragon represents America, Washington, D.C. to be exact, all right, the District of Columbia to be more exact, to be more precise, all right, with their military might, all right. They are the military arm, because when you go to Revelation 17, all right, Revelation 17, I will come back to that scripture. Just bear with me. When I come to Revelation 17 and it reads, and there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, which is America, that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All right, which that wine is her philosophies and what have you, so forth, right, which is spearheaded by a word called democracy. All right, so it says, so he carried me away, all right, in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, sit upon it. That woman is America, all right, sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, all right, which is the European Union and NATO, all right, which is the European Union and NATO, but America is actually she's not a part of the European Union, but she's the one that calls the shots, all right. She's the one that make all the policies and whatnot, so forth, and the European Union, they have to follow, all right, and she is the leader. America is the leader nation within NATO, okay. America is the lead nation within NATO. So it says here, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colored, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. All right, which is speaking about the Israelites. She having the Israelites in her possession. All right, the children of Israel, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of a fornication, and upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations on the earth. Okay. When I jump down, let me see. All right, good. Good. I will just go. I will read just only to 7. All right, I'll read just only to 7. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, which is the children of Israel. All right, and which was the saints, which is the children of, which is the prophets. All right, the prophets. Okay, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushai, which is the children of Israel, and the followers of Yahushai, which is the children of Israel. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, which is America, and of the beast that carrieth her. All right, and of the beast that carrieth her, who had 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so when I go back to the Revelation 16. Okay, Revelation 16 and 13, I'll read over again. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon. All right, the military wing of this beast. Okay, and out of the mouth of the beast, which is England. Okay, which is England, pursuant to the financial system. All right, because with financial system, which really started up with the Rothschilds. okay, with the Rothschild family, the Rothschild banking family, and what have you, so forth, okay, and out of the mouth of the false prophet, which is who? Which is the Vatican. So these three entities here, these three city-states, they are the actual blueprint. Okay, this is the actual blueprint of the whole beast system. Okay, because you need these components in order for the system to be fully well functional. All right, you need to have that financial system to bankroll the policies and whatnot, so forth. You need that that false spiritual to carry about your witchcraft and because this is what it is. The Roman Catholic Church is something of witchcraft, is This is where it is. You need these things. All right, that false worship, whatnot, so forth, to help keep up the system. All right, and then you have the military end, okay, which is to enforce. And it says here, for they are the spirits of devils working miracles. All right, working miracles, false miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, power almighty. All right, there is where it is here. These three city-states. All right. And they, ever since the so-called white man came into power, all right, they have been embarking on a quest of world dominance. And these three city-states, as I said, it is very integral in them. It is very integral in them achieving that new world order. All right. It is highly integral. Okay? You see, you have to understand this is what the wicked will do. This is what they need to do this in order to solidify their position upon the face of the earth. All right, and to carry about and rule in much wickedness. They need that. They need it. All right? Because check, for instance, the financial arm of this thing here. All right? Now, what did the Rothschild do? They use this financial system. All right, starting with gold, and from gold you had IOU notes. From IOU notes, you have what you call now fiat currency, but that fiat currency is going to be dismantled. Okay, it's going to be dismantled and going to be replaced by what? By digital currency that is going to be accessible via RFID technology. So you see how it is unclean. You see how the Lord described it as three unclean spirits like from. All right, watch it. The Vatican. All right, the Vatican and their false worship. Okay, the Vatican and their false worship. Now all of Christianity has stemmed from the Vatican, has stemmed from the Roman Catholic Church. Now you're seeing that, the Roman Catholic, now you're getting to really see, only those who are the eyes to see will see it, all right, the true nature of the Roman Catholic Church and what is their true mission, all right? What is their true mission? Their true mission is to help in tandem with the system, all right, okay, towards the false miracles of technocracy and what have you, so forth. You understand? and not only technocracy, but also false worship, satanic worship, and what have you, so forth. Because this is what it is transcendent to. They are taking off the layers. They are taking off the layers and actually showing you, that hey, we are actually about Satanism. All right. Just look at the symbolisms and what have you, so forth, within the Roman Catholic Church and what have you, so forth. It's all pagan. It's all about paganism. It's all about Satanism. All right? Masonry and what have you, so forth. Then you have Washington D.C. with the military that is spearheading of NATO and what have you, so forth. Okay? That is all about enforcing. Alright, all about enforcing the policies of the beast and upholding the political structure of the beast and what have you, so forth. 3 unclean spirits. 3 unclean spirits. 3 unclean spirits. There's where it is. But this is what the Lord said that they would do when they come back into power. Alright, pursuant to now I could go to it, which is Malachi. What the hell are you going so far for? I'm going quite in it. Malachi chapter 1. Malachi 1:1, it reads, the burden of the word of the Lord to us, to Israel, Salakia, by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord, yet I love Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage, all right, ways for the dragons of the wilderness. All right, and that 3 city state is actually a representation of his mountain, all right, the governmental structure and what have you, so forth, the policy makings and whatnot, and also their heritage. All right, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And this is what they did. All right, this is what they did to the point where they have been able to implement their 3 city states. All right, because these 3 city states, it all goes all the way back to Rome. All right, it all goes back all the way to Rome. Let me see something. Nope. Let me see something. I think the apostles them had done something pursuant to this, but let me see something I did. No. Right, ancient Rome. Rome had let me see something here. Let me see. Yes, the Roman Republic did have 3 main branches of government: the Senate, the councils, and the assembly. These branches work together with the checks and balances to govern the Roman state. All right? Okay? It says the Senate primarily composed of patricians, wealthy and noble families. It advised on laws, controlled state finances, and handled foreign affairs. The councils, 2 elected officials who serve 1-year term, leading the executive branch. They commanded armies, enforced laws, and had the power to veto over each other. The assemblies, these were popular bodies that elected officials and passed legislation. The Central Assembly elected councils and other high-ranking officials with the Tribal Assembly. Alright? But let me see something here. There are 3 branches of government. And let's see. Alright, Rome itself it did not have a 3-city state. Alright, Rome itself was a single city state like those in ancient Greece that eventually grew to dominate the Italian peninsula and then much of the Mediterranean world. Alright, so good. Alright, so good. Good. So basically, those 3 branches of government that Rome had, alright, nothing new under the sun. Those 3 branches, those 3 governmental branches is the same thing. Is the same thing as the 3 city states. Alright? Yeah, it's the same thing as the 3 city states. Alright, because you have to remember these as the lady put it in as she couldn't say it better, that's roughly paraphrasing, these components is what you need to is what they need in order for the empire, because remember these 3 city states, all right, is actually an empire, all right, an empire that these people is sitting upon, all right, and ruling over. And that empire don't just include those 3 city states, it includes the world for that matter. Alright, it includes the world because they are ruling over the whole 4 corners of the earth. There is where it is. Alright? So when I go to Psalms, let's take a look at Psalms 36 and 1. It reads, "The transgression of the wicked saith within my heart, that there is no fear of Yahweh before his eyes. For he fluttereth himself in his own eyes, until his iniquity be found to be hateful. The words of his mouth are iniquity." Alright? "And deceit." Alright? "He left off to be wise and to do good. He devised mischief upon his bed." He devised mischief upon his bed. He said in him, he setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. Alright, because these 3 city states, okay, is literal, is all about the practice of wickedness, alright, evil, alright, of thievery and idolatry, alright, thievery, idolatry, and oppression. This is what these things represent. Yeah, this is what it represents. But you see the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, pursuant to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I think it's verse 8. I'll start at verse 6. Alright, verse 6, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 6, where it reads, "And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time." Alright, and this is what is taking place. They are being revealed. This is their time for them to be revealed. "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way." So the Lord is letting these people go about their daily business within wickedness. Alright? And them trying to achieve their new world order. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, which is the prophets and the chariots. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Because you have to understand, these people, they see themselves as the Most High. They see themselves above the Most High. This is where you have to understand. Yeah? This is where you have to understand. And all three city states is actually tying in one, all right, for a main particular agenda, which is their new world order. But the Lord said, pursuant to Job 5 and 12, Job 5 and 12, where it reads, I'll start at 12. It says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. Yeah? This is what it is, man. This is what it is. Alright? Last scripture, Revelation chapter 19 and verse 19, where it reads, and I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and the armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army, which is who Yahushai, that's the one that's sitting on the horse. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet. All right, so the European Union, all right, and NATO, they're gonna get crushed along with the false prophet, and wrought miracles before him, right, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. Alright, burning with brimstone. And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, alright, which is the chariot, the laser beams from the chariot, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. Yeah, so the image of the beast, yeah, and the beast itself, along with the false prophet, they're gonna burn in that thermonuclear fire, man. The Lord is gonna send a missile onto the Vatican City. Best believe that. Alright? The Lord is gonna send a missile on the Vatican City. Alright? Beast nations, the European Union, they're gonna get destroyed. There's where it is. Those three city states, London, Vatican, and Washington, they're gonna be wiped off. Alright, the Lord is gonna destroy it, man. There's where it is, because they are three unclean spirits like frogs. They're gonna get what's coming to them, man. Alright, so I hope you all are edified through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This is your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp, signing out. Saying, Kal Halayam La Alahaya Nawa. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Raka'akodash. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai. Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Double salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat, the brother Kahan, signing out, saying shalom, shalom, shalom.